On this week's Flame Central, we'll tell you why Liberty softball continues to shine and share the story of shortstop Devyn Howard.
Plus, Flames baseball alumni are making a difference on the diamond. And we hit the links to talk regionals with Kieran Vincent. Flame Central starts now.
We are coming down the stretch of the spring sports season, and we're going to be bringing you all the action. Welcome to Flame Central. She's Emily Austin. I'm Matt Warner.
We have some great stories to get to today, but we have to begin with the incredible season that Liberty softball has put together and the recognition they're getting for it.
Yeah, the Lady Flames finished the regular season with a record of 40-16 and 23-1 in ASUN play. And with Liberty dominating the conference season, that meant they would also dominate the ASUN Awards. Let's start with the ASUN Coach of the Year. That, of course, goes to Dot Richardson. Second year in a row she's earned the honor, and fourth overall Conference Coach of the Year she's won. Sophomore catcher Caroline Hudson was named the ASUN Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. Her 10 home runs were tied for a conference best, and the 18 runners she caught stealing, that was third best in the nation. She's got a cannon back there. Now, ASUN Pitcher of the Year, that goes to Emily Kirby. Again, her second straight year to win the award, well-deserved after posting a 10-0 record in ASUN play with a 1.02 ERA. And finally, the team also wins in the classroom. Pitcher Carly Keeney has been named the ASUN Scholar Athlete of the Year. These awards, along with 9 total players making all-conference, just adds to the dominating 2022 campaign for the Lady Flames.
Yeah, Matt, one of those players to make the all-conference first-team list is Devyn Howard. Committed, gritty, detailed. Those are just a few words to describe Howard and help explain why she's so confident. She's the type of player that makes you happy she's on your team, because as an opponent, she's going to make you pay at the plate and in the field.
When I'm confident, I step in the box and I put my bat up like this and I just stare down the pitcher. And I'm looking at her in her eyes and I'm like, throw a pitch to me right now. Do your worst and I'll do mine.
Flames infielder Devyn Howard is having a career year, leading the team in runs, and also saw a hit in 11 straight at-bats, breaking a program record. Getting to this point has taken a lot of work, and it started by proving herself at the JUCO level in Florida.
We were extremely gritty at the JUCO that I came at. We practiced every single day except for Sundays because that was the Lord's Day. You go in with the head coach, assistant coach, your teammates, whoever you can find, honestly, and you just grind every day and you get better.
She would find favor in the eyes of Kevin Fagan, who called up his daughter Casey and pleaded Devyn's case for a shot at the D1 level.
He's always told me my whole life, there's players who in postseason or when the lights are on, they get worse, and then there's players who get better. And he was like, this is one of those kids that when the lights are on, she's the one. And so he was very impressed by that and just spoke a lot about how much she loved the spotlight and how much she wanted to be the one to be the hero.
So Devyn would make her way to Liberty, where again she would have to prove herself once more.
Coming in, I'm not gonna lie, I really thought that I was going to be a starter. That's where my head was at. So kind of reevaluating everything from there was a struggle at first. I had to buy into the program and it took me a little bit to buy in. So making sure I came and worked on my offense, because that was the main thing for me, was my offense. I wasn't really producing as much as I could.
I remember the conversation, we were at Alabama. She just came up to me, she was like, Coach, what can I do? What can I do to make sure I'm on the field? I'm going crazy. I gave her some tips and just hey, you gotta be more consistent hitting and you gotta do it in practice. And I think she just really took with that and ran with it, and now she's our starting shortstop.
A large part of her success has not only been her work ethic on the field, but her preparation when it comes to watching film when away from the ballpark.
Devyn's a ballpark brat is what I would describe her as. Coach always at practice, she's like, so who's been watching? Have you guys watched this team yet? They're on ESPN Plus, they're on this channel or whatever. And Devyn's always like, me. I watched them.
For scouting, I get my iPad out. On my iPad, I write down all 7 or 8 innings that might be played. and everything's color coordinated. I like my things color coordinated. So pitchers go on the left side, and all of their pitchers that are thrown color coordinated if they're a ball or a strike and what pitch they are to a righty, lefty, or slapper. And then with the hitters, if they're a triple threat, a righty, a bunt threat, like anything that could possibly come up, I would write it down. If they have speed, I'll put a star up next to it. And then what they do against the opposing pitchers, I'll write that down. Like if they have a hit, I'll write down like where it went and what pitch it was off of. So scouting is really big, especially since we have all these video cameras now. Like it helps a lot, especially like with winning a game.
This detailed preparation gave the Liberty coaching staff an idea. Devyn would be perfect as the leadoff hitter.
Leading off for your Flames, the shortstop, Devyn Howard.
Leadoff hitters set the tone. She does a great job seeing pitches, and she offers a great perspective. Like, she gets out, she comes back in the dugout, lets everyone know, like, hey, this is what we're looking at, this is what she's throwing me. And so it's huge, honestly. So when she stepped into that leadoff role, I think our offense kind of went up another level.
Being leadoff hitter, it really gives me a lot of confidence that Coach Dot and Coach Cass and all the coaches on the staff really trust me to get the job done. I have started to love leading off a lot more. It was kind of nerve-wracking to me in the beginning because you're kind of like the guinea pig. You're just thrown out there. You don't really know what to expect. Scouting has really helped me as a leadoff hitter because coming into the game and knowing what the pitcher already throws to certain people, I feel like it kind of gives me that edge or a leg up. And once I know I have an edge over you, that's where the confidence really shows through.
Now as leadoff for the ASUN leading Flames, Devyn finds it hard to believe how far she has come in just a short amount of time.
Coming from JUCO and playing all these teams that I've seen play on ESPN and in the World Series, it's amazing to think about, honestly, because I didn't think that I would get this far. Sitting here and playing all of these great teams and great athletes, like coming from somewhere where we didn't really have a lot to somewhere we have anything and everything that we need. I couldn't be more blessed.
What an exciting player, what an exciting season for Liberty softball. All right, we turn to the other diamond now. Liberty baseball sitting in first place in the ASUN East, but found themselves with a great midweek opportunity on the road at number 5 Virginia Tech. A win over the Hokies and go a long way towards helping the Flames' at-large bid resume. Now this ball game scoreless into the fourth when not one, not two, but 3 Hillier comes through with the RBI knock, putting Liberty on top 1-0. The Flames pitching in this ball game absolutely fantastic. A potent Hokie lineup. They would hold them to no runs and only 2 hits in the first 8 innings. Now, you'll notice I only said 8 innings because in the 9th, still a 1-0 ball game after a hit batter and a passed ball. Eduardo Malinowski ties the ball game up with an RBI single. Then just a few moments later, it would be Lucas Dolan who would walk it off. Virginia Tech coming back to win it 2-1, a heartbreaker of a loss on the road for the Flames.
While the Flames were on the wrong side of that one, playing against top competition like Virginia Tech helps your players get ready for postseason play. But the coaching staff who prepares them to take the field and who can relate with past experiences plays an even bigger role. Fortunately, the Flames didn't have to look far to find their mentors on the diamond.
So we have 4 former players with Kowalo, O'Connor, DeLate, and Cordell, which I think is really cool because they've all walked in these players' shoes.
Kind of my day-to-day duties is working with the catchers, assisting Coach Cannon with the hitters.
I kind of more side of the metrics, analytics for the team.
My whole thought process was throw hard as late as possible.
I help out with Coach Williams with the pitchers.
Keep the head down on the ball and that back shoulder or follow. I work mostly with the position players, whether it be on the hitting side, mostly outfield and base running.
Former players that you trust, they're invaluable for us as a program. It's just a dynamic that I think really helps breed not just the culture, but like the expectation level and the winning.
And Liberty, the Flames out of the ASUN, win it over Duke 11-6.
Cultures that have been great are
ones that focus on people. I think that's what we have here. For my role, I just try to make guys know that they're cared for, they're loved, and that's beyond their results as they go out there on the field and compete.
Good off speed from Trevor DeLay, count 1 and 2.
Trevor brings a really unique perspective on being that Friday night starter and what it took to have those big moments go his way, and what does that look like in between starts.
Like at the end of the day, if you let up a hit and you execute your pitch, all you have to do is move on, or all you can do is move on.
One thing that allowed me to come back was just how much I loved being around Coach Jackson, Coach Williams, Cannon, all these guys. Their friendships will last forever, and I know what they do up there in their offices is at the top of college baseball, and I want to learn from the best, and I think that's what we have here.
I started all 3 games at Wrigley Field with Chicago.
I don't know many programs that, that have a big leaguer just in the dugout that can be there for our players with suggestions.
The first time I ever got to meet Coach Jackson was at the First Pitch Banquet in 2018, and I just knew right away when I met him that he was a man of character, that he was leading the program in a really good direction. So when things were kind of unfolding this year with free agency, not looking like I was going to get signed again, and was kind of looking towards the future and what I wanted to do next and possibly get into coaching, the idea of coming back here, being at Liberty, but also being with Coach Jackson and the staff just really excited me.
You just got to soften this puppy up. You got to stretch it out a little bit.
I've been one of the top prospects and had those experiences, but I've also, gone through the injuries, and I've gone through being the bench guy in the big leagues and having those highs and lows to just kind of relate, with them and where they're at.
I think you're starting to feel like, okay, I gotta do something big rather than like, all you gotta do is, you just gotta drive a ball through the middle.
Kowalo turns on it, and it's gonna get down and roll to the wall.
I think every day, Kowalo shows up with a smile on his face, he's ready to work.
He's not the most vocal, but you know that he cares about the guys and that he's gonna do whatever it takes to make them better.
Just being able to relate with the guys, we've been through it, just trying to help them out on a day-to-day basis, being not buddy-buddy with them, but being friendly enough with them to where they can trust you and almost open up to you so you can help them at the end of the day.
Let's be honest, there's conversations that I'm not privy to and I don't need to be privy to, and I think those guys have done a great job of just helping our players maybe through some difficult days in the fall, or trying to understand what they can do to get better or what they can do to get in the lineup. John's here from the player development side, where it's been everything I could have imagined with him. He's dove into it, head first, whether it's the analytics, our on-base use screening, scouting reports, spray charts.
John is the guy that if you need something done and you need done right, you go to him. I think it's great to be part of something special and just pour into these guys each day.
You're a guy that's always going to be able to fall back on competing. You're always going to compete.
Playing here allowed me to love the game again, appreciate it for what it is, and to just truly play free, understand how to play free, and then now I can express that and share that with the other guys.
I've got a lot of pride in this university, being able to come here as a high school kid and get an opportunity to play college ball and go past that. And so with that pride, I want to see this program go places that I know it can.
So how about the Liberty Flames? They take 2 out of 3 from a top 10 team in the country.
Such a great feature produced by our Jonah Jabor. Switching gears to the course, despite placing 3rd in the ASUN Championship, Liberty Golf received an at-large bid to the NCAA Regionals. The Flames will be the number 7 seed at the NCAA Stockton, California Regional, May 16 through 18th. The postseason berth follows another successful season where LU posted top 5 finishes in 8 of 11 events and was ranked as high as number 22 in the nation this year. The top 5 teams from the regional will advance to the NCAA Men's Golf Championship in Scottsdale, Arizona. Liberty Super Senior Kieran Vincent joined us on the Flame Central podcast this week to talk about some unfinished business.
This year's team has been very talented. We just haven't been able to really push to their full potential. When we played at Vanderbilt, we gave them a good run for their money. That was the best I think we've played as a core unit. And so just kind of seeing glimpses of that and still knowing that there's still stuff out there that we can do just a little bit better kind of shows that I think a lot of teams are looking at us as a 7th seed and going, like, kind of scratching their heads, like, how are they a 7th seed? Or, I'm kind of a little afraid having them as a 7th seed. And this year we kind of are a little bit of underdogs, and we can go in there with a bit of like, hey, we got that underdog mentality and ball out, I guess.
To hear our entire interview with Kieran, check out our Flame Central podcast. Emily, Rhett, and I talk all things Liberty athletics. We also share deep personal stories, but mostly we just talk about the Flames. You can find the podcast where all great podcasts are found, Spotify, Apple, etc. Check it out today. Well, last week we told you that Liberty men's tennis made the NCAA tournament for a 2nd straight year, but unfortunately, their season would come to an end in the first round against NC State. The 20th ranked Wolfpack would defeat the Flames 4-0. The loss concludes the career of Nikes Mwamba, one of the Flames' all-time greats. He finishes his time at Liberty with 74 career single-match victories. Well, coming up, Liberty lacrosse finds itself back in the ASUN Championship and some Malik Willis news.
Plus, hey, that guy Rhett joins the show for a brand new Warm, Hot, and Fuego. That's when Flame Central returns.
So we really knew nothing about Liberty till probably 10 years ago. It was during our time of Duck Dynasty, and we were speaking everywhere. And I'll never forget, Willie came back from Liberty, and he had spoken at Convo, and he was just blown away. He couldn't stop talking about it. He was like, there's literally 10,000 college students worshiping God together, and they bring in these speakers every week. He was so impressed by that Convo that it brought us here. It really was not hard at all to convince our kids to come. We just came for a visit, and they were blown away as well. From the convo to the spiritual atmosphere, to the spirit of excellence that goes on here at Liberty, to the people. Really, when you get here, you realize that they're here and understanding that they're pursuing Jesus, and this is a time for them to grow in that and grow in their walk with Him. I think the best thing about Liberty, really, I guess you could say the best thing, is the friendships that our kids have made while they've been here. Like, I absolutely love all of our kids' friends, and there's like a peer pressure to follow Jesus here rather than the opposite, which I think is a really neat thing. These college years are really the years that these kids are making their huge decisions of life, like either going to marry potentially, the career, where they might live. These are such critical years. I think that it's really important for our kids to, be in an environment during this time in their life specifically that is pursuing Jesus.
Challenges, they're nothing new. At Liberty, we know they make you stronger, force you to learn, adapt, to overcome. When your next challenge comes, be ready. Meet it with a degree that propels you forward. We've helped champions like you succeed for 35 years and counting. And now, over 100,000 students are getting stronger every day. At Liberty University, challenges make champions. Let's overcome together.
Welcome back to Flame Central. Earlier this season, lacrosse head coach Kelly Nangle told us on the Flame Central podcast about the Lady Flames' biggest threat in the ASUN Conference just about every season, Jacksonville. But before we get to that ASUN Championship final game, the Lady Flames would need to get past Kennesaw State in the semifinals, and they did so in dominant fashion, winning 21-6. Brooke Bryan found the back of the net 5 times in the victory. So then it was back to the championship final for the 3rd straight year against, you guessed it, Jacksonville. And unfortunately, the Lady Flames found the same fate, dropping the game 20-12 as the Lady Dolphins win their 5th straight conference crown. However, guys, still a great season for Liberty lacrosse.
Yeah, it certainly was. Tough way to end it, but a great season nonetheless. All right, we turn now to Warm, Hot, and Fuego. Rhett McGibbon joins us now, as he does each and every week. Top player moment from the past week in Liberty Athletics. You want to kick things off with Warm?
Yeah, let's start off with Warm. Rachel Roop, D1 Softball National Freshman of the Week.
Wow.
Let's look at their field of study, right, for all these young ladies. 3 ladies this week on Warm, Hot, and Fuego.
Ladies' night on
yeah, that's right. Central, Always right. Biology major. Like, I was a biology. I did a lot of biology when I was here at Liberty. I wasn't a D1 athlete, and I'm struggling to get all the work done. She's out there working, all the time. I don't know how they do it, but good for her. Exactly. She has been impressive. Against Stetson, last conference series of the year, 4 home runs. Like, she was just sending them a yard. Yeah, 8 home runs on the season, 5 RBI in game 2 alone. She had 9 RBI on the series. Now, I was doing a little digging for this freshman. Okay, I'm high on Rachel Roop. I think she's going to be a great player. Autumn Bishop, similar, I think, power numbers and ability to get on base. Her freshman year, Autumn had 2 home runs and 23 RBI. This year, for Rachel, 8 home runs, 39 RBI. Wow. I think she has the potential to be a stud.
Do it. Like, Rhett likes to go out on a limb with his predictions. Say it.
I think she's going to be top 10 numbers-wise by the time it's all said and done.
There you go. You heard it here first. All right, from Warm, we go to Hot. Who's hot?
Yeah, we're stay with softball. Mary Claire Wilson. We go back. This is a performance against Virginia Tech a week ago. Oh, my goodness. Like, what a game it was. Grand Slam. You're going up against also Keely Rochard, one of the best pitchers in the nation. Actually just won ACC Pitcher of the Year. So you're going up against a stud. She comes in, Grand Slam. You saw her right there. She was stoked up, ready to go. That brought the Flames back into that game. Next time up, runners on the corners. She jacks another one, a 3-run shot. With that, she tied a program record for 7 RBI in a game, went 2 for 3. She was great. And really, she is a secret weapon for Dot Richardson in that 6-7 hole, because a lot of teams are thinking, okay, I'm getting down just to contact hitters, and she can do that. Like, she can lay down a bunt, use her speed. She had an inside the park home run last season, right? She can get it done. But man, the power coming from her game, especially with conference tournament, boy, you're feeling good right now.
Love the offense for this squad and what they've shown this year.
For sure.
All right, finally, Rhett, in Fuego, who's your pick there?
All right, it's Ayanna Johnson. This young lady broke a record for track and field that was long-standing. It's in the long jump. Okay, this program record that she beat. Get your head wrapped around this.
Got it.
20 feet 8 inches.
Got it.
Can you imagine jumping that far?
I cannot.
I cannot. Like, I was trying to figure this out. I was like, it's not 20 inches.
We can measure it here in the studio and try it during the break. Just to see how far we can go.
This program record had been standing since May 26, 1984.
Whoa!
We were born. I was 2 months old.
Okay, you were born.
I was 2 months old. I just think it's crazy how she was able to get it done. That picture at the end, the guy's just like, I think we all felt that way.
Incredible. Congrats to her. All right, hey, still to come, Malik Willis has a number, a top moment from days gone by, and some great news about a Lady Flame basketball player. That's all when Flame Central returns.
For me, I started here at Liberty University in 2006. I sat down with Dr. Jerry Falwell himself. He looked at me in my eyes and he said, "You're going to be the reason why we start to turn this program around to one day beating Notre Dame." I shook his hand and said, "I promise I'm going to do my part." Our football team was here when there was AstroTurf. Like, we didn't even have an away locker room for teams. DeMoss was the newest building built on campus when I was here. Like, we thought that was it. We're like, yo, this university is growing. That's how long ago it was. Not even long ago, but that's how quick the university grew. For me, getting my jersey retired means so much. It means the world to me. Not just even to me, but everybody that was a part. Like, I didn't do it by myself. I had people believe in me before I knew who I was. For me, to think that the jersey retirement is about myself would be ignorant. This jersey retirement is a staple of a group of men that came together and committed to something bigger than themselves. Liberty University is majorly important to our culture today because of what we represent. And so, to culture where morality is being challenged constantly, you need a backbone, and Liberty provides that.
On this mountain stands a legacy. 50 years of miracles, of mountaintop moments. One mission from the start, training champions for Christ. On this mountain, our flames burn brightly. We have a culture of academic excellence, unified in Christ and authentic community. Though we come from different paths and places, the same fire burns in all of us. And 125,000 strong, we cheer each other on around the stadium and around the world. On this mountain, our intensity lights up the night. We coach forward, push onward, honoring Christ in every sphere of our lives. We serve, give, and volunteer, grateful for all that we have been given. For 50 years, Liberty University has stood united in our mission. On this mountain, we train champions for Christ.
God's calling for your life can be specific, and at Liberty, we're committed to equipping you to pursue that calling. Choose from more than 300 residential programs of study, or design your own major through interdisciplinary studies, and be confident your major is the perfect fit. No matter how specific your calling, you'll find a program of study to match at Liberty University, and become your best as a champion for Christ.
Hey, welcome back to the show. When Liberty quarterback Malik Willis was drafted by the Tennessee Titans a couple of weeks ago, Flames fans immediately started looking to get his new jersey.
And now we know what number he'll be wearing. And it turns out it's the same as the old one. The Titans announcing Willis's number this past week. And just as he did at Liberty, Malik will wear number 7 with the Titans. So Flames fans, you may now go ahead and place your order for that new Willis jersey. Yeah, that's that baby blue. Liberty University is celebrating its 50th anniversary, and each week we've been bringing you the greatest LU athletic moments from the past 50 years.
Yeah, and this week we're heading to the links for one of the greatest teams ever assembled at Liberty University. The spring of 2012, Liberty's golf quintet of Matthew Fanas, Robert Carlson, Nicholas Lindstrom, Chase Marinell, and Ian McConnell would lift Flames golf to new heights. They would compete at the NCAA Division I National Golf Championship for the first time in program history. Sitting in 7th place after the second day of competition, the Flames would enter the third round as one of 15 teams within 9 strokes of each other, all striving to be one of the top 8 teams who would move on to the tournament's match play competition. Liberty's golfers would fight to the very end, but come up just 1 stroke shy of that goal. They would still earn a 10th place national finish, which at the time was the highest finish that any of Liberty's Division I sports programs had ever achieved at a national championship event.
We're hoping this year's Flames golf team finds that similar success. Before we go, we wanted to bring you some great news that we've received this past week.
Yeah, you may remember the story we did a couple of months back about Liberty women's basketball player Bria Busby and her battle with cancer. We are thrilled to announce she is now officially cancer-free. Her treatment was a success, and now she can begin working towards getting back on the court. Amazing news for Bria and her family, and definitely an answer to many, many prayers. All right, hey, we're about out of time here today. Do want to remind you, libertyflamescentral.com. Check out the website. Check out the Flame Central podcast as well. A lot of great stories, interviews on there.
Hey, how about you meet us back here next week? For Matt, I'm Emily. We'll see you then.